So a bright good afternoon to you, a bright African good afternoon to all of you who are joining us today in the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. Today is episode 12. Episode 12. We 12, but today we're featuring 12 incredible master teachers, School of Life master teachers. My name is Beatrice Achaleke. I am the serial author of the Africa for Smart Kids book series and the publisher of GloBUNTU books. At GloBUNTU books, we pride ourselves with collecting and documenting African stories, some of which you'll find in no school book, some of which you'll find in no library, some of which you'll find on no blog. We collect and we document them here and we share with you because we are creating a digital memory right here. This masterclass is more class. We just want to collect some of the stories that our children and our great-grandchildren will be able to fall back on to see how their great-grandfathers and great-grandmothers look like at some point and what they had on their mind. This is what we do at the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. I personally handpicked the master teachers that you meet here. These are men and women, brothers and sisters, kings and queens who have walked through life and who have created system, learned lessons, fell down, stood up, and have a lot of juicy tips that they can share with you, that they come to share with you so that you can best master your life wherever you are. So today, our master teacher is coming right up. But before we do that, I just want to make sure that you and your families are keeping yourself, that you are following the pandemic rules and that you are all safe right now at home. So this masterclass, as usual, comes to you in 4 chapters. In chapter 1, we get to meet our master teacher and learn about that defining moment that changed the course of her life forever. In chapter 2, we are looking for the 5 key life lessons that she has learned so far. You want to pick your pen and a piece of paper so that you don't miss any one of this juicy content. In chapter 3, we're looking at her next chapter, what she's up to. And in chapter 4, we are wrapping it all up in a very fast, simple, and fun way. If you want to participate in this open masterclass, please make sure that you switch to YouTube so that we can pick your comment and have you be part of the class. So that said, if you're ready to go, I am super excited to introduce to you today's master teacher. She is an incredible woman. I will not say much, but I'll let her come on screen and introduce herself to you. Good afternoon, Sister Queen. How are you doing today?
Bless the Lord, I am well, Anqueta. It is really good to be here, and I am blessed to be sharing this platform with you. Thank you for doing such an incredible job of documenting African voices digitally. God bless you. And to every viewer who's coming in and who will come in the future, may the Lord God bless you and give you the desires of your hearts. Thank you. Amen. You look beautiful out there while we are waiting for Beatrice. Anqueta, she tells me Anqueta speaks of her royal responsibility as an advisor, chief advisor to the king. In Luvenda, we call those people Makadzi. Women have always been an integral part of African society, right by the sides, beside their husbands, their brothers, their sons, their kings, themselves sometimes being queens as well. So we are blessed to have this trailblazer in Anqueta Beatrice Achaleke, who is leading us and allowing us to be able to advise the next generation. So to pass the baton to the next generation and say, you're not alone. Don't navigate the stormy waters alone. There are many who have gone before you. When you are young, you think you know everything. You have an answer to everything. And just to get slapped by life, you know. So it's important that you equip yourself by reading and listening to the stories of others. That is why every great religion has a manuscript of some sort, whether it be oral or written, so that the generations that come later have wisdom that they can tap into and they can learn to listen and attend to their source by through those manuscripts. As a believer in Yeshua HaMashiach myself, I follow the Bible. There are many other scriptures that you can follow, and this is another scripture that Achaleke is giving us. Thank you, Beatrice, and welcome back.
Oh yes, the network started sabotaging again,
I
but
could
again, we're
see
used
that.
to this.
Yeah.
So thank you for having my back. So master teachers always have different roles in this class. When the network misbehaves, someone always carries on because it's time for storytelling. So thank you to those of you who are online. You're patient with us. It's story time. It's the School of Life.
Oh, bless Pulukwane. Bless the internet of Pulukwane. Come on, somebody pray for Beatrice. Let that internet work. I can't be on this platform on by myself. I need my hostess. We command that internet to work now. No more freezing. No more freezing. Yeah, so as I was saying, there are many scriptures, and this is one of them. As you listen to us and the many other masterclass teachers, you are listening to oral scripture that can help set you on the right path. These are lessons that people have gone through in life, experienced, and they have learned lessons, and they're now passing them to you. When you read the Quran, when you read the Bhagavad Gita, when you read the Bible, when you listen to the oral stories of your ancestors around the fire, those, in Africa, we've been made to vilify the word ancestor. It just means those who came before us, our forefathers, our fathers and our fathers' fathers. Those are the people who came before us, and they told us stories. They wrote them on trees. They wrote them on clay pots. They wrote them on papyri. They wrote them on the tombs of their ancestors before them. All those are scriptures. These are words that God whispered to people throughout the ages so that they can know how to navigate the earth. God did not put us on earth and leave us alone. He always had angels around us and taught us things, and these are the things that we are sharing. So I am excited, super excited today to be sharing, and I hope my hostess will come back so that she can guide me. But yeah, today I'm going to speak about Ubuntu. I'm going to speak about how that lesson of Ubuntu changed my life when my father first taught me. He asked me a very fundamental question that floored me and really helped me today to be where I am, and I hope that it will also help you navigate through the waters of life, so that we can be African and culturated. We can be Africans in Africa and in the diaspora. Ankweta, you're back.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. I'm back. I'm jumping. So I don't know how far you were, but hey, tell us, how have you been during the pandemic? What is that lesson, that treasure, that something precious that you've learned about yourself during the pandemic?
I have learned that truly, the lesson that I'm going to share about today is an important lesson of being part of a communal. And it was beautiful for me to learn how you can be absent in your family's life whilst you are with them. And the opportunity that the lockdowns have allowed us to be present to our families and learn to appreciate one another and learn to experience each other and love one another for who we are. I learned to spend time with my children and enjoy them. And I was forced to be a mother. I couldn't delegate it any longer. I couldn't delegate to television and to school and to friends and to all. You know how we delegate mothering and parenting. I had to be there as a parent and learn to love my children and spend time with them. So I cherished that a lot. I enjoyed it. And I learned that I do enjoy being with people. Even though I'm a quiet person and I'm a more of a thinker, but I enjoy talking to people. And yes, it was beautiful. I learned that my husband always says you cannot just leave a void and keep quiet, and he is one of those first people to get into social media and into technology before many people did, especially people of his age who were born before technology, and is always driven technology and made sure that as a church we are on technology. And I learned to appreciate it during lockdown, that we could reach so many people and talk to so many people and be influential and help people because of this technology. So yeah, that is one of the things that I learned about myself, that I do love connecting to people, even though it looks like I don't. Yeah.
I know. Ever since we started communicating, I know that you're a people's person. I feel it.
Oh,
I feel it when you talk. And sometimes, being a people's person doesn't mean that you talk all along. Because when you're
yes.
around people who are talking, someone has to be a listener and a
Yes.
proactive listener. So
True.
that's the value that you bring. When you're a quiet person, it means you listen and you analyze. And I see that in the work that you do. So kudos,
Oh,
sister.
thank you. Thank you so much.
So those
Yeah.
of you who are here, I want to quickly remind you that you are in the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. This is the 12th class, and we're talking all about life lessons, and how those life lessons shape our lives, and the importance of sharing those lessons so that we can shed light on someone else's darkness. Remember, I always say life is a story, and some stories are life changing. And the life changers of stories that are life changing are storytellers. So, our master teacher today, our master storyteller, is my sister, Dr. Taki Dube. And I'm super, super happy. So, remember, this is an open master class. You can always join us live. Join us live using the comment box. And if you like these classes, please do what you do normally on YouTube. Just give us a like and click on that button so that you don't miss out on any master class.
And subscribe. And subscribe.
and subscribe. Thank you, sister. So
Yeah.
that said, I would like us to dive straight into your class. We
Great.
are looking for that moment right now. That God defining moment that changed the course of your life forever. It could have
Mm,
been in your childhood, whether it's in your education, in your interaction, in the
mm,
many communities that you are. What was that? The moment that comes into your head now that you think
mm,
changed the course of your life forever? Share with us.
mm. Yes, it was that day when I was 9 years old. And my father called me into his study. He had this study that was full of books. To a 9 year old, it looked like a huge study, but I can see it is actually half the size of my study now. And he had a couch next to his desk, and the couch, you through the glass door you could see the grass, a garden with the flowers, and you could see through the transparent fence the people who are passing by. And he called me, and I came and I did the vendor thing to come and kneel before him. And he said, "No, sit down." After I've knelt and he acknowledged me, I sat down, and I immediately reclined on that couch because I loved reclining on it. It was like a bed. And then he says to me, "Taki?" And I said, "Yes, Dad." And he said, "What would you do if you woke up tomorrow and I was not here?"
Ooh.
And I said, "They're stunned." And I'm like, "Well, I'll go and look for my mom." And he said, "And what if you couldn't find her?" And I was flabbergasted a bit. I'm like, "Okay, I'll go look for my siblings." And he said, "What if you couldn't find any of them?" Then I started feeling my heart thump in my chest because I was imagining this scenario. So I thought, okay, I'll go to my neighbor and tell them that I can't find anyone. And he says, what if you went to the neighbor's house and you found nobody? Now my voice was starting to catch, and I could feel I wanted to cry. And then I thought, okay, I would go to the police station. And it hit me at that time. I didn't even know where the police station was. I didn't even know what the police personnel do. And he said, what if you couldn't find them? So I burst out crying. And when I started crying, he sat up and he said, you see, my daughter, Muthu ndi Muthu nga Vhathu. It's a Luvenda saying. In isiZulu they say umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu, which means we are because of the collective. Our lives have a meaning because of the collective. And it's an African spiritual philosophy that speaks about one person being able to locate themselves in the next person, so that you can, when you look at another person, you can see yourself, and you can ask yourself, if I was that person, which you are, what would I be wanting? How would I want to be affirmed? How would I want to be received? How would I want them to hear me? How would I want them to interact with me? And then from that place, begin to interact with that person based on that. And this is the African philosophy that has allowed us to be such a great people, who are able to forgive, who are able to love, who are able to welcome, who are able to receive. And this has been a fundamental story that has changed my life in a fundamental, well, changed my life. I was 9, but it has set my life on the trajectory that I have traveled. It has allowed me to become a medical doctor. It has allowed me to see myself beyond just being a medical doctor to being a healer, who heals in everything that I do. Somebody who can found institutions that are there to help other people. Somebody who can create institutions that bring relief to people spiritually, emotionally, economically, and physically, and work with everybody. And recognize, my husband loves saying that akukho umgqomo wokulahla umuntu, isiZulu, for saying you cannot throw, there is no dustbin that collects discarded human beings. So regardless of how dirty you think a human being is, they are a human being, and therefore they are valuable and they are precious. Because I began to realize that in this aloneness, if I was left alone on planet Earth, my life would be meaningless. There's nobody who would cheer me along. There's nobody who would be the audience to see the magnificence that I grow up into. There's nobody who could lula me, who could sharpen me as iron sharpeneth another. There is nobody who could teach me, who could direct me, who could lead me, who could cry with me, who could rejoice with me, who could make life meaningful with the jokes, inside jokes. There is nobody that I could have to share my highs and my lows. There's nobody that could be there for me to help and assist. So it was an incredible lesson for me to say, thank you. I recognize that everybody is valuable and I must value them, and I must make sure that I always honor them, honor people, regardless. That hobo on the street has value. It's a pity we even call them hobos, for lack of other words. That gogo at home, that mkulu, is valuable. The wisdom they bring is incredible. Your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your employer, your employees, every member of society is valuable. Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. You are, and you are valuable, and you mean something because of the audience of another.
How powerful is that? just from those questions, those soul-surging questions to a 9 years old. Your dad is a wild person, and I know he's still alive.
Yes, he
You're blessed
is.
to have him alive. I hope that will have him one day in the master class.
We
I
will
hope
make sure.
that.
We will make sure. If we can't get him live, we'll record him.
Right. I thank you for that. And I think
Yeah.
it reminds us again, you in that story and in the lessons that you took from there, you remind us of this philosophy that is so simple that everyone can understand. It's a 4-lettered word. Is it 4-lettered word? And it's so profound. And if people did not understand what Ubuntu is, and talking from the perspective that you say, we are a people because of the people that we have in our lives and we interact.
Yes.
And if you just open it, you realize that in life we become who we become because of the people that we have around us and the kind of relationship that we have with them. You can only be a mother when you have children, whether they're your biological or not.
There
You
you
can only
go.
be a teacher when you have pupils who are attending your school. Otherwise, you can be the best
Yes.
teacher in the world. If you have no students,
Yes.
no one will know that you're a teacher. And I say, even
There.
the police people on the street, even the people in the courts, in the prisons, the system is an ecosystem. There will be
Yeah.
no judges if there are no criminals, so-called
Mm-hmm.
criminals. So at any
Mm-hmm.
one point in our lives, we play a role, and that role is constantly
Mm-hmm.
changing. And that role that we play has to do with the environment that we're in and the people that we are connected to, that we're directly
And
connected to.
needs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that philosophy is so simple. I'm glad that you just broke it down. You just broke it down
Mm.
in a way that
Mm.
everyone can understand. So
Mm.
again, tune into the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. We are talking life lessons. We're talking when you're 9 years old and you get that question and you have to dig deep. You know what that reminds me, sister? It reminds me of our African oral culture. Our
Yes.
parents used to teach not by reading a book to you. They used to
Mm-hmm.
teach by sitting you down and having a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with you or asking you questions so that you can find your own answers, not any pre-formatted answers that will not fit in your pattern. It's
Yeah.
asking those questions so that you realize, you go deep inside of you and you and you find your
Mm.
voice and you find your
Yeah.
own action and strategies, correct?
Tra-
Do you want
tra- that that is brilliant. That is brilliant. In fact, yeah, because it is when we are asked questions that we begin to find ourselves. When we are given answers, sometimes we do not subscribe to those answers and therefore we do not follow that advice. And that's why advice giving does not work. People have to come up with their own solutions. When my dad, what that has done for me, that question that he asked me when I was 9 is a question that still rules me and governs me. Today, I'm 52 years old. It is a question that allowed me to realize that I can only do a small part in life. It has helped me to live a balanced life in that I now know that I don't have to be master of all, jack of all trades. I can be a master of something. And I am a master of bringing people together. I'm a master of helping people identify their strengths and to play to their strengths. I'm a master of creating enabling environments so that people can achieve their best. I don't have to go out there and build a hospital, build a school, build a business, build this, that, and the other, but I can bring people together and say, listen, could we look at this and that and the other? And then we can begin to create. In the olden days, they used to have what they call in Luvenda, Zunde, Namtingati, when somebody needed to hoe or plow their field. They didn't go out there and started plowing it alone for 3 weeks. They called the whole community, and one would start on the east, on the west, on the north, and then we would all come together. By the end of the day, we finish plowing my field. Tomorrow we go to your field. Instead of each person painstakingly doing just their own thing. It is because we have been deculturated from Africa. Our identity has been taken away, our culture has been taken away, our wisdom has been taken away, and we have been forced into this hole of individualism, that we can only think of us having 5 cars, 5 houses, and 5 whatever, instead of realizing that if I came together with other people, we could each help each other to each have 1 house, 1 car, instead of me hoarding over the space to get my 5 cars and my 5 houses. So that is one thing that I learned from that, and that it is generational. I don't have to do everything now. It is generational. From one generation to the next, I can start something that is creating a path for those who come behind me. I don't have to eat the fruit of my labor now. Some of the fruit of my labor, but I can watch from heaven and say, wow, is that how that ended? And be joyed with that, instead of killing myself trying to achieve something in one lifetime. One lifetime is not enough for us to do everything that God has for our lineage. That is why he calls an entire generation, right from Adam to Adam's children, right up to Noah, right up to Shem and Ham and Japheth, right up to myself and my father and my forefathers, up to my ancestors coming to me. I am not living my life. I'm living the life of all those who came before me. I'm just grabbing a baton that I am passing to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation. So it was an incredible lesson of Ubuntu to know that you are part of a lineage. You're part of a lineage, and you must just do your part and pass the baton to the next one. Don't drop it. Don't throw it away. Make sure that you pass it to the next generation.
I love that. And I could pick on so many things. I was born and raised in Cameroon. And, that thing of plowing the field, we call it in my mother tongue, atet. Atet, it means that people come to your farm, your whole community. They come visit. All you have to do is cook food. And if you can't cook food, someone else cooks food. You all meet and you work as a community. You support each other. Yes. And the next day, and if a woman had a child, she doesn't cook. She doesn't have to cook. All the neighbors, some bring firewood, some bring food. Every morning they come and cook. They just have to rest. And when you look at the society today, you're wondering. Again, first of all, I know it comes from from the bottom of Africa through the continent. When you speak in Central Africa, right, or West Africa, and we're sitting here, and it's the same culture. We are the same people.
It is even the same language. You're calling it atet, mutingati. Can you see the T? There you go. It is the same word, and it is the same concept. It is the same people. We are the same people. And we have been made to think that we are different people. We've been cut up into different countries. We've been labeled with different ethnicities. We've been called different races. We've been called all these things. But we are one people, Abantu, which they bastardized into Bantus. But we are one people. We are one people. And yes, you're back.
I'm switching from data, from mobile data to Wi-Fi, and it's just doing a thing. And
but you're getting it right. You're getting it right.
So again, there's so much that we can comment there. But one question that keeps coming to my mind is, I hope that you've sat your children down and asked them the same question. I hope that you've sat them down and asked them the same question, and even extended it so that they get the same wisdom that you got from just being asked that. Right.
Thank you. In fact, I haven't. Amazingly, I haven't. I just told them my story. You see what I did? I told them my story. I think I will ask them the question because it's still relevant. Even though they've heard it, but they will have their own answers, and it will also force them to see things in a different manner. In fact, they will now embrace that lesson better than when I just told them, my father said this to me, and this is what I learned. I will definitely ask them. Thank you.
Deeper and deeper with them, a little bit deeper and deeper, so that they get.
We will make it a family question. They must, from generation to generation, that question must be asked. And I failed asking it at age 9, but they must ask their children at age 9.
Right. So those of you who are joining us, this is the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. Please feel free to participate. Use the comment box and join the class. What is the lesson? What is your God-defining moment? Is there anyone who ever asked you those questions that allowed you to go deep inside of you? From what our master teacher has just said, what have you picked up from there that is in your life? What are you going to do? Are you going to ask that God defining question to your children right now? Let's make it a
Let's make it yes.
Yes, let's make the part of it. Go ask the question. Sit your children down and ask them.
Age 9. If you missed age 9, it's okay. But at age 9,
yes, whatever, whether it's 29 or 39 or 59, you can still ask that question as long as you're still alive. Ask that question. Ask yourself the question: if all your resources were exhausted, everything that you're familiar with was exhausted, what will you do? What will you do? I think that will really help you. And I know where I'm coming from because I've been in one of those spaces, and what you discover will change your life.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break talking about children and talking about lessons learned. At GloBUNTU Books, we decided to acknowledge children during the pandemic and kind of affirm them through the GloBUNTU Trailblazer. We did the first round and we were able to affirm 48 incredible kids who are beating the pandemic and just excelling in 8 different categories. This is the second round because many parents, many children wanted to be part of this. And so we are starting the second round. This call is out. Deadline is the 10th of August, and the award ceremony is on the 20th of August. If you have a child at home who is between the ages of 5, even 4, who is doing something incredible during the pandemic, between the ages of 4 and 20, please nominate them for the GloBUNTU Trailblazer Award. And I want us to go look at the categories right now. So take a pen and make a note and see where you have to go nominate your child. Hello, welcome. Thank you for clicking on this link. My name is Beatrice Achaleke. I am the serial author of the Africa for Smart Kids book series, a publisher of GloBUNTU Books, and curator of the GloBUNTU Trailblazer Award. Last month, July, we had the honor to honor, uplift, and celebrate Black and brown kids who are beating the pandemic and excelling in 8 categories. The joy I saw on the faces of those kids when we affirmed them, the confirmation that we got from their parents and from their families and their loved ones and from social media was for me an irresistible invitation to set up the second round. Some parents have been asking, when is the next nomination round coming up? And I am here to tell you that the next round of nomination is open. You can go to our website, www.globuntubooks.com, click on the Black Youth Summit and Award, and nominate your child. Stick on to the end of this video so you can get a clear understanding of the different categories and who we are looking for in each one of these categories. I look forward to having you join us to uplift, celebrate, and affirm Black and brown kids across the globe to stand up to their greatness and to be as great as they can. This is what the GloBUNTU Trailblazer Award is all about. I'll see you at the award. Here are the categories for this second round of nominations. GloBUNTU Creative Trailblazer. This category celebrates kids and young adults who, despite the pandemic and being locked down, have been able to use the time to ignite their creativity. This includes all forms of creative writing and publishing, including but not limited to books, blogs, podcasts, vlogs, paintings, drawings, music, poetry, radio programs, etc. GloBUNTU COVID-19 Solution Trailblazer. In this category, we are looking out for kids and young adults who have come up with any solutions, technology, devices, etc., that helps create awareness, offer protection and prevention or cure of COVID-19. GloBUNTU Community Impact Trailblazer. This category is for kids and young adults who are engaged in social activities in their communities and neighborhoods during the ongoing pandemic, such as helping elderly people and taking care of the needy and most vulnerable members of their communities. GloBUNTU Healthcare Awareness and Services Trailblazer. This category recognizes kids and young adults who are engaged in providing healthcare services to people in their communities, such as working in hospitals, COVID testing and vaccine centers, traditional healing programs, and any other related healthcare facilities. GloBUNTU Family Unity Trailblazer. This category rewards any contributions by kids and young adults in helping families stay together, protected, and happy during the lockdown. This includes helping with house chores, ensuring that quarantine rules such as social distancing, sanitizing, and other hygienic rules are respected at home. A GloBUNTU Invention and Innovation Trailblazer. This category recognizes kids and young adults who, despite the ongoing pandemic and being locked down, have successfully invented COVID and homeschool related solutions that help people stay safe, protected, peaceful, and happy during the pandemic. GloBUNTU Business and Finances Trailblazer. This category recognizes kids and young adults who have successfully developed income-generating business solutions or concepts during the pandemic, which are now giving them an income. GloBUNTU Academic Trailblazer. In this category, we recognize kids and young adults who, despite the pandemic and being locked down, have excelled at school through excellent grades, regular school attendance, have always completed their homework on time, and all shown exemplary behavior at school. Thank you for staying right up to the end of this video. Now it's time to call you to action. Make sure to go to www.globuntubooks.com and click on Black Kids Summit and Award to nominate any child of your choice. Remember, we nominating children from the ages of 5 to 20. And kindly help us share this invitation, this nomination call. And remember that by just sharing, you could change the course of a child's life forever. We are going through the pandemic, and taking the time to celebrate our children is one of the best investments that we can do at this time. So thank you for helping us to share this invite around you. I'll see you at the award. So welcome back. We are still in the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. If you're out there, you are a parent, you are a godparent, you are a community leader, you are a neighbor, you are a church leader, you are a teacher, you are, an auntie, whoever you are, an uncle, a malome, a Hakati, I don't know, whatever name, please nominate the children. This is the best we can do to affirm them. They're going through a whole lot of stuff. Their part of their childhood has just been taken away by the pandemic. Some of us grew up without the pandemic. We had our challenges, but we were not quarantined, not this way.
Yeah.
So because our children are going through this, we have a responsibility to uplift and affirm them, and also to give them the space to detox all the effects of the pandemic that they're currently going through. That is the essence of the GloBUNTU Trailblazer Award, and we thank you for helping us to reach as many kids as possible. Our goal at GloBUNTU Books is to touch over 100 kids before the end of the year. We already had 48, and we are still aiming to have 100, even 300. Why not? We want to affirm our kids and bring them together. So thank you very much for that. Sister, thank you for allowing me to use your masterclass time to dish out that call to action to anyone who is for the celebration of our kids. And now we're back to the masterclass. I see there's some people. Let's see who is online. If you're online, you're in the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. Our master teacher today is my sister, Queen Dr. Taki, and she's been sharing some real powerful lessons. We see one person here, Mbali. We see you. We see you, Dr. Dube, full of wisdom. I agree. And now we're going to get some more wisdom. Please use the comment box to join us. We are taking comments on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, please switch to YouTube so that we can have you in the class. Now let's go to
Thank you, Mali.
let's go to the next chapter of this masterclass. We're looking out for those gems, the treasure, the 5 key lessons that you've learned going on from that moment where you had to search for that answer up until now. What are the 5 key lessons that you've learned that keep you going no matter what? Over to you, Master Teacher.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ankweta. You know, one of the lessons, the 5 lessons that I have learned from practicing the philosophy of Ubuntu is number 1, that it is a universal philosophy. You find it intertwined into any scripture that you will ever read of any religion or any faith or any spirituality, because this is God-inspired philosophy of being able to locate yourself in the next person and being able to take care of them as though they were you, of recognizing that we are part of an interconnected universe. God in us and us in others, and the plants and the environment that we live on being part of us. We eat the plants, you know, we give them carbon dioxide, they give us back oxygen, and we eat them for health. And we use the materials around us to build everything that we are sitting on, eating, everything, even this computer that I am using and the internet, all those things are materials that are there in the environment. And when we finally die, we return also to the environment and we return to God. So it is an ecosystem that is interconnected, that demands that each person and everything is respected and taken in honor, that we do not abuse anything, that we do not take anything for granted. We do not take for granted the flowers, the animals, the dogs, everything around us is of immaterial importance. It has taught me to speak to everything and everyone. Those who know me know that I speak to, and in fact, when I started talking to the internet of Ankweta and telling it to behave. And you've seen that it has behaved itself. We have not had too much interruptions. We have been able to communicate well. So recognizing that we are part of everything. Ubuntu philosophy is about being connected to the higher being. For me, it is God himself, being connected to others, our contemporaries, those that we live with, those who created us through their loins, those that came before us, those that we are our contemporaries at the moment. It is about being connected to the ground, which speaks to the environment. So that is the lesson that I have learned from that, being mindful of the importance of everything, that God created everything with me at the center of it. And that it does not mean that I am the most important. I am just given custodianship over everything else, and I must take care of it so that it can take care of me. Trees can live for thousands of years. Trees can live for thousands of years simply because they have learned to just be trees. They are content in being trees. They're not wanting to move from point A to point B and shifting this and that. They are just there creating shade, being wood for others, being a resting place for others, interacting with the soil, taking up the nutrients and giving life to everything around them. You may ask yourself, why is a tree there? It is there so that we can live. At the moment, pandemic has made us acutely aware of the importance of oxygen. It is the trees, the leaves of that tree that gives us that oxygen. How amazing is that? But you can just look at a tree and think it's nothing and cut it down and not even apologize to it. It is an important part. And if we are to live long like trees, we need to live in an understanding that we are connected to everything and to value everything and to respect everything and to be grateful for everything. Ubuntu has taught me also to spin life my way. There is no rule book. Nobody knows how we should live. And nobody knows who I am and what my giftings are and what God wants me to do on earth. So I must be able to live life my way. We mustn't take it because there are these things that are written, there's certain created social way of being, and take it to mean that that is the only and the correct perspective and way of being. No, God wants you to express yourself fully and confidently according to who and what He has packaged you to be. Dress how you want to dress, because that's how God is allowing you to express yourself. Speak how you want to speak. Express yourself how you want to do. Be innovative, because there is no way. If your day starts at night and you sleep during the day, if that's how you're wired up, do that. Be the best that you can be, because God is trusting you to be who you are so that you give room for another person to be who they are. When we begin to live our lives authentically, then we give people an opportunity to applaud us, and we can also have an opportunity to applaud them. But if we are all the same, all doing the same thing, then there is no difference, and we do not get the best value out of everybody else. There was a time when I was frustrated with my team, and there were people that I wanted to fire. I just felt like, you know what, I'm done with this. And God made me aware that the reason why I didn't value those people was because they were not like me. I wanted them to think like me, to behave like me, to like the things I like, to think the way I do, because I valued me. And He taught me that I must begin to value them for their part and their contribution. And I began to realize this other one, she can never think innovatively. She can never come up with an answer. But if you told her, go to that corner and clean it like this, and like, she will clean it to such a degree and such a perfection. She will move things that are so heavy that I know that I would never be able to carry myself. And I began to appreciate, listen, I thought this person was not worth being here, but now I'm willing to pay them, because I realized if they were not here, I would have to carry that burden, and I'm not ready, and neither am I able to. And I also have to do other things. I valued that. I had wanted her to be an author, to write like me, to create letters, but that's not who she is. That's not the skill she brought, but she brought others. The other one, all he wanted was to socialize with the people. I'm like, no, dude, you've got to do other work. But I realized they are covering my weakness. I'm not a socializer. They socialize on my behalf. And when people are socialized with that way, who do they see? They still think I am the socializer. Meanwhile, that person is socializing on my behalf. They're covering my weakness. Sometimes that thing that you hate in your employee, that thing that you hate in your child, is in fact something that is covering your weakness. And because you are blinded to your weakness, you're only open to your strengths, you think that that person is wrong for who they are and how they are. And we need to begin to acknowledge everybody in whatever we may see as a weakness, in fact, it is indeed a strength that covers our weaknesses. I used to always want to point fingers at my husband and think, oh, but he doesn't do this, but he doesn't do that, because those are the things that I'm strong in. Then I started realizing, but he is strong in things that I'm not strong on. And him being there covers my weaknesses. And I appreciate him even more when I see the platforms he stands on, the things that he says to people, because those are the things that I would have loved to say and do, but that's not my strength. I am not gifted that way. I need him to be the person who goes there and does that and speaks those things and encourage people that way. And I can be the person who prays because that's my strength. I mustn't force him to be the person who prays because he is the person who does. The faith without works is dead. There has to be the praying, there has to be the doing. I do the praying, he does the doing. So those are the lessons, and I learned it from Ubuntu, and it allowed me to be relaxed in my marriage and know I can do this. I can love this person for who they are.
And I don't have to do it alone. I don't have to take another person's role.
Exactly.
And the things that you said is so resonate with what I understand that philosophy to be. And I would just tell you one thing. I have one sister, one biological sister, and she is one person who likes to polish herself and put herself out there. And I'm that one person who likes to show that I'm always busy. I'm always, doing something. I'm always changing the world. And I could not come along with my sister until I had to realize that I was actually jealous of her. It was painful for me to admit that, you being the elder sister and thinking I am always putting myself, because I think I have to please people, I have to do that. And she's just doing her life. And I am not happy with her because she's doing something that I would have loved to do, but which I don't have the courage to do for whatever reason, and that was a big lesson to me. Yeah. And just like when someone irritates me today, I say okay, thank you for that mirror. What is it that you're showing me? What is inside of me that I need to work on?
Exactly.
What is that part of me that needs me to work on? What is the shadow work that needs to be done? And so when I do the GloBUNTU concept, there is the one module that is about building and managing relationships. And I have a category of people, and one of them I call VIP, very irritating people. And I say, you must get with very irritating people, a couple of them in your life, because they show you your blind spots. They will show you things that your cheerleaders will not show you. Your cheerleader doesn't make you grow. Your cheerleader is there to make you feel happy. You can always go to them. They will always tap your shoulder. But someone who is always tapping your shoulder and telling you that you're great doesn't make you make that extra step. But a very irritating person will point out and say this, you think like, but I can do that. So that is someone who is pushing you to grow. So it's always good to have a couple of them in your life. Exactly. So I love this conversation. We just have to do more of this.
Yeah.
So what I got from your lesson one, from your lesson one, sister, is what I love what you said is being you does not mean that you are the most important person. Quite often, as we're leaders in organizations or anywhere, as parents, we think that we're the most important and everything has to spin around us. So you're telling us, just as I am important, everyone else is important in their own unique way. And we have to respect that. So I love that explanation.
Ecosystem.
Number two, you said, give room. I got you. You said, spin your life your way. But what the key message is, give room to others to be themselves as well. Give room to others. So I love this conversation. I love this masterclass. So sister, go on with your lesson number 3. Let's hear that.
Yes. That family matters. So many of us go out there to look for people. We feel lonely. We are in families, but we feel lonely, especially because, like what you said, you can look at your sibling and criticize them because they're not who you are. And it's because you are jealous of them most of the time. And if you begin to learn to bless them and appreciate them and love them, and ask questions, I see that you like doing this. What does it mean for you? you may begin to learn more. God he says that he places the lonely in families. So family is God's solution for loneliness. And yet we are in families and we are lonely. We go out into cyberspace where we get bullied because we are looking for the likes, when we cannot allow the people in our lives to give us a physical like. You know, where you could even just go to a person and say, listen, I need a hug. Give me a hug. Tell me I'm beautiful. This is the space where you can be free to ask and say, I want to be told I am beautiful. Show me how I can make myself more beautiful. How can I speak better? How can I do this better? Families are God's blessing, and we need to begin to value them. African families have been broken down through slavery, through colonialism, through apartheid. Through all this institutionalized racism, the family has been broken and we have lost touch. We go out to look for friends everywhere else when our first friends should be our parents. Our first friends should be our siblings. Our first friends should be our spouses. Our first friends should be our children. There are so many layers. After that, it's our cousins and our extended family. We have so many people that we can embrace, that can become, you know, if you just focused on your family alone before you even went out anywhere, you've got such a great and big congregation of people that you can love, that you can influence, that you can share with, that you can feel whole and accepted in. Yet we go looking for this elsewhere. So that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned from Ubuntu, that when my father asked me, and if I am not here, and if your mother is not here, and if your siblings are not here, I began to realize I have to stop fighting with my sister. My sister is 2 years younger than me, so the sibling rivalry was big, but I had to realize I have to stop fighting with her. I have to love her. I have to learn to be friends with her. I have to allow her to be that blind spot that says this is wrong, this is good, this is whatever, and be able to swallow that. So it taught me that, and it taught me the last lesson, that being spiritual is very important. Ubuntu is about spirituality. It's about us being connected. Spirituality is about connection to the source, which is our Father God, the source, which is our parents who gave us birth through their loins, which is our source, the environment. That connection, being part of that, is very important, to always see things from the eyes of the spirit and not eyes of the flesh. To always know that we do not end here. We are eternal beings, and from generation to generation we matter. That is an important lesson for me, that when I die, I have not ceased to exist. I will continue to exist in my children and my children's children while I exist again spiritually, and I can be the watcher and the prayer.
Oh my God, this is so deep. This is so important. And you just say it like that, and it resonates so much with me. And what I picked up from the next lesson, I love this new definition of family. Family is God's solution for loneliness. I never heard anything that profound. And
Praise the Lord.
I just love that. God's solution for loneliness. And you say it, we all go out looking for likes. And this like and social media, in as much as it is helping us navigate through all the situations that we're faced with, do business differently, it is someone else's culture. It is someone else's culture. And our community our communities were our social media. This is where it comes from, because we lived in communities, physical communities, not virtual communities. And this is something that we have to realize. And I like the fact that you put a light on that. And when you say Ubuntu is connectedness, it's about community, it's about you connected. And I love those different levels of source. When you look at the GloBUNTU mind shift, it's like like you're in that concept where I'm tracing just that and say the different levels of your sources,
Yes.
You and I have to do more of these conversations. And I'm just so full. I'm just so full. And there's so many things that I can put in, but this is your master class. I just need to have you come back on another class.
Yes,
We have to do
great.
some more broken down with Ubuntu for people to really understand where it, what it
Yes,
means.
yes,
And online, we see you online. We see all of you who are participating. We see, let's go pick them up. We start right here with Mbali. Mbali is thanking you for the wisdom. Mbali, we see
thank
you.
you,
We
Vale.
celebrate you for being here. We have Odilia. Odilia, we see you too. She was the first master teacher. She was our first master teacher. She is
Yes.
Kenyan, lives in the Netherlands. She's doing incredible work out there in the Netherlands. She's an author as well. So we have Odilia is still saying, I mean, in Kenya, in my language, people are called Abantu. We are all the
Yes,
same people. That's what we're
yes,
talking about, Odilia. That's what we're talking about,
yes.
sister. And who is here? Nkululeko, I'm sorry if I pronounce the name wrongly, says powerful indeed, Dr. Taylor.
Mm, good luck.
And we see Susie Pham says, very inspiring. We see you. Thank you so much for that
Thank
feedback.
you, Susan.
Mbali says, uniqueness and authenticity. Mbali, thank you. That's what we're talking about. Very irritating people. Yes, please check your very irritating people because they're your blind spot. They will help you. If you're a driver, you know what I mean by that, by the blind spot. Tilenga, exactly. So we're thanking you for being part of this class and for contributing. Please remember, I'm always looking for master teachers. If you're out there and you know someone who is a master teacher, someone
Yes.
who you think should come here and share their story and inspire us, please inbox me. We're looking for master teachers. Please bear in mind also that we're creating an African memory, virtual memory right here. It's not just a master class, it's about collecting wisdom, pieces of wisdom, and putting out there so that our children and our great grandchildren can fall back on. These stories are going to be out there for and in the digital world forever. So please help us to collect the stories and to digitalize and document them. Let me see
Did you
what Odilia.
see Odilia again? Yes, there, that
Yes,
comment.
I realized lately that a pool of family talents can build an empire. I agree with you. And this means that it doesn't mean that family is always easy because they have this talent and because they're so close to us, because we're emotionally
Mm,
connected. It can be
mm,
difficult to manage. You can't fire your family
mm.
members. You can fire your
Ex-
employees, but you can't fire family members, right? So it means you have to put in extra work to make it
yeah,
work. I'm talking
yeah.
about my sister. Since
You
I
have
let
to
go,
be able to.
since I let
Mm,
go of my expectation of her, she and I, our bond is stronger than you can ever think. I used to fall back on my brothers. Now my brothers are like on the periphery, and my sister and I, she checks on me every day. And we have
wow.
learned to tell each other things that we've not, I have blocked us sharing for a very long time. So I
Yes.
had to let go of that. And it had to do with me, not with her. So when we embrace people for who they are, let them shine their light, even though it's not your light. By
Mm-hmm.
dimming, someone said, by dimming someone else's light, it doesn't make your light brighter.
Mm,
So,
mm.
so this, I think, these are some of the principles of Ubuntu that we have to understand. Mbali says, "Wow, family, God's solution for loneliness, powerful indeed, indeed. I got that too, and it's a new lesson for me today, sister." I think we can take more lessons from you, but we're gonna be mindful of the time. We're already over the hour.
Yes.
We're still in the middle of the master class. I will take you to the next chapter, and the next chapter will be for you to share with us what is your next chapter now going forward. What are you up to? What project? What wisdom? What is going on now for you? And where can people find you?
I have written a book. I'm no longer saying I'm writing a book. I have written a book. I have completed it. It's called Bantus, the Untold History of Africa and Her People. And it is a history lesson. It is a philosophical lesson. It is a spiritual lesson. I talk about the history of Africa and Africans right from creation to today. I bring Homo sapiens and I label Homo sapiens and I say Homo sapien is an African person because scientists cover up our identity in scientific nomenclature so that we are Stone Age people. We are near, what is it, Pleistocene people. Those people are our ancestors. They are our fathers and our mothers. They were in Africa where we are, and we have persisted throughout Africa. So I want you to look out for my book. It's coming out, I believe, in August. Please buy it. And buy it. It's a legacy for you and for your children. That's what I'm up to. That's what COVID has given me the space to be able to do. From February 2020, I've been laboring on that book, and it is now completed. During 2020, I also became closer to my children, closer to my husband, closer to my church community and my family. And yes, this is what I'm up to, becoming closer to becoming human. I was telling a group of our church leaders that they've helped me to rehumanize. I had been dehumanized through colonialism. I had been dehumanized through my education. I had been dehumanized through medical school. And they have worked on me daily to rehumanize me and put back in me Ubuntu. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Wow, how powerful. So first of all, congratulations to the book. We need that book in the market. We need it in every library. We need it in every school. So it's a great piece of work, and it's really highly recommended. Make sure you get your copy before that book is ever out, because you don't want to miss on that. And I also like that word, dehumanizing, humanizing.
Being rehumanized,
Right. I think I'm asking all of you out there, what is it that you got about you, that you learn about you, that is rehumanizing you, that is helping you to shine your light, that is helping you to be who, or to rediscover that family is your refuge for and the solution for your loneliness. What are you at? What relationship do you have with your family? And how are you taking responsibility for making sure that that relationship works? So there's so much that we can take away from this masterclass. And before we continue to the last chapter, again, we can carry on forever, but we are going to end the masterclass. Before we get to the last chapter, I just want to take us to invite you to what is coming up next. Let me open this one. Come on. It's in the background. We have it in the background. I can't. I did something wrong to make it as a layer. But what I wanted to share with you is the fact that July 31st is Africa's Women's Day. And that day was institutionalized in 1962, 1 year before the EU Commission, the African Union Commission, back then called the African Union, was institutionalized. And this year, a group of sisters and brothers have come together, including me, to celebrate the Africa Women's Day. It's on the 31st of July. And on this day, we are celebrating the political legacy of African women. Sister, I don't know whether you know that we've had 40 female presidents and prime ministers on the continent since 1975. And this is not known anywhere. I have a book that I published. It's called Africa's Female Presidents and Prime Ministers. Let's talk about them. And this event on the 31st is going to be centered around that. So if you're African, you are a friend of Africa, you are a woman, please go on YouTube, on Facebook, and just Google Africa Women's Day. Make sure that you follow, register. Participation is free, and we will be honoring our political trailblazer, the female presidents and prime ministers, the 40 that have graced our continent with their boldness, with their fearlessly ambitiousness, who have broken the glass ceiling in the political space and become female presidents and prime ministers. And as we're talking, the youngest one just came into power. When was that? On the 21st of July in Uganda, Uganda's second female vice president. And our oldest is from 1975, Elizabeth Domitian in the Central African Republic. And she was in before Margaret Thatcher. And while we were celebrating America's first female vice president, we had two new African female vice presidents, prime ministers, inducted into office in Togo and in Gabon. So we
Wow.
are spotlighting and celebrating these political trailblazers. So make
Praise
sure
the
you join
Lord.
us and register, bring people. We want to raise awareness on this political legacy and the legacy of
Yeah.
African women. So, sister, let's get back to the masterclass. And we are up to the last chapter of this class. And that last chapter is always a chapter that we wrap it all up. It's just give us complete the sentences that I'm going to read out to you as authentic, as fun-filled, as lesson-filled, as wisdom filled. Just let's make it as compact as possible. And so, if you're ready, I'll say, let's go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, please complete the following sentences for me. I am
a human being.
As a perfect wife, I
love my husband.
Motherhood to me is
a sacrifice.
Okay. What most people do not know about me is that
I laugh a lot.
I know that. My key motivation in my work with communities is
love.
The word Bantu represents to me
God.
Looking back at my life, I see my greatest achievement as being
my children.
Wow, good. If today I had to re-answer the question that my dad asked me 9 years ago, my answer would be
I would still cry. I would still cry.
The one lesson that I learned from my dad that I treasure forever is?
That one is known. Maybe we can ask my mom about my mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
My message to people who are struggling through the pandemic is?
You're not alone.
The one family tradition that we have developed during the pandemic is?
To call each other every day at 3 o'clock.
Wow, powerful. Those of you out there, what is your family tradition? What have you developed to keep family your solution to loneliness? Think about it.
Yeah.
The one thing that is never missing in my grocery bag is?
Beetroot.
Oh, wow. Me too. Okay. I have a GloBUNTU recipe with beetroot, all kinds of things that you can do.
Nice. All I do is juice it. So I'd like to know your recipe.
We'll talk about the recipes later. So
Yeah.
my one life goal that has changed during the pandemic is? Think about maybe nothing has changed. Things don't have to change. Goals don't have to change.
Yeah, I don't think anything has changed. I am one of the few who has been blessed enough not to have anything need to change. In fact,
Right.
for me, the lockdown is perfect.
Nice. Good. If today was my last day, I would
smell the flowers, the soil, the sea air, drink a nice cup of tea, and love people and pray and worship. Yeah.
Oh, wow. 3 wishes that I want to fulfill before 2025 are?
You know, Ankweta, I am blessed to be living my life. Before 2025, though, because I've just started a private practice, is that I want to see it flourishing. By 2025, it must be flourishing. It's an aesthetic clinic, it's a weight loss clinic, it's a wellness clinic, it's a chronic management and healthy lifestyle clinic. So 2025, that's my goal. My book is there. My family is here. God is here. Yeah, just that to flourish.
When can I check into the clinic?
You can even do it virtually. I do virtual consultations. So from
Okay.
Bulupana, you can do, yes, it's already it's already on. I started in May.
Nice. Best of luck. Those of
Thank
you
you.
who are out there, you hear if it is stress, if it is weight challenges, if it is your spiritual, your mental, you got all the wisdom that you heard here. That's the space of healing where all of this is coming from. So if you're out there and you have some of those issues, you know where to go to contact our master teacher. And
I'm glad you caught it. That is exactly the people I'm looking for.
what most people do not know about Africa is
That we are one.
Mm.
We are one people, children of the same father. And that we are the first of the people in every continent, we're in every country that we are in, which was never a country before colonialism. We were one, and we are one.
Get you. If I was the president of the United States of Africa, I would.
I would create the ministry that my husband loves, the ministry of joy. The ministry of joy and the ministry of Ubuntu, maybe the ministry of Ubuntu, because that would bring joy. In fact, yes, that's what I would do. Create a ministry of Ubuntu and also ensure that Ubuntu is taught in every school. It's part of the curriculum. That's the first thing I would do.
I love that. And there's in Bhutan, there is the prime minister of Bhutan. They call him the happiness prime minister. When he took over in Bhutan, what he did was institutionalize a happiness. And people in Bhutan, they may not be rich, but happiness is the core of, is the philosophy of life in Bhutan. And people who have been there, they kind of they testify, the level of warmth and the level of humanness that you feel when you get to Bhutan. So I get that point very much.
Wow.
So, sister, and if I want to be remembered as an African woman who
prayed.
Wow. This has been an incredible masterclass, and I know that I'll definitely still get you back because we still got some unfinished business on Ubuntu. And top to that, talking about Ubuntu, when you talk about the connectedness, if we did not know how connected we are, we know it latest with the pandemic. It started in Wuhan in China, and look at what it has done with the world. And that is the testimony for the fact that we are interconnected no matter where we are in the world, no matter where we, and that the decisions that we make and thinking that we're deciding for our lives affect everyone else in the ecosystem sooner or later. So, sister, if you were to give the final word of wisdom before we close this masterclass, what would that be? Over to you.
I would say, Ankweta, bless you. I would say you are doing a great job. I would say, may this grow into a powerful medium of history collection, to sing the unsung voices, and that we recognize your work, we applaud it, and we will always support you. We are with you 100%. And we are grateful for the opportunity that you're creating for us. That's what I would really want to say. Many other things are out there, but I would like to sing your praises and say you are a great and wonderful human being, and you're doing a great job. May you never get discouraged. May you grow strong all the time. May you achieve greater heights. And may this thing that is at the back of your mind that you're unable to articulate, may it become a reality, and may we see it. And I know that you're working on the technology to create some technological wonderful things. May they come forth in Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh my God, what a prayer. I receive with deep gratitude. I receive with deep reverence. I receive with deep respect. And I am because you are. I may have those ideas. If we don't have the master teachers, there is no master class. So this is a collective effort. It's a collective result. And that's why we're looking for more master teachers. I know you've sent me a whole bunch of master teachers. We'll continue to look for them and to continue to do this masterclass so that we have that digital memory out there. So thank you so much. Those of you who have participated, Shelley, we see you. The book is coming. We will check to see if you've gotten your copy of the book. You already got the first order right here. This is to our master teacher and author. And we got this one, Umuntu, Ngumuntu, and GloBUNTU. I'm trying to read that one. I hope I read it properly. We know what it means. So
yes,
thank you. Those of you who took the time to join us in this masterclass, it is always my pleasure to host a masterclass. I look forward to Saturdays. I hope you too. Please bring more people to this space. You see the wisdom that we shared today, and in all the other masterclasses, go back from the first beginning and watch the masterclasses. Get your families together. This is a family learning place, and what you get here is what you'll not get in any school and in no book and nowhere. This is the school of life. My name is Beatrice Achaleke. And I hope that you enjoyed the masterclass and learned from it half as much as I did. I thank my master teacher for taking the time. I know how busy she is. I thank her for speaking from the place of healing and for sharing her understanding and wisdom of Ubuntu with us. And I celebrate all of you who are here. I hope that you all stay healthy and protected, divinely protected, until Saturday when we have the next masterclass. Do not forget to nominate your children for the GloBUNTU Trailblazer Award, and do not forget to register for the July 31st celebration of Africa Women's Day. So with this, I want to close this masterclass today in deep respect. Odelia, you said something. We love to pick you up. I love this. Thank you, Odelia. We see you. We love you too, and we love your comment. So see you next week in the masterclass on Saturday. And make sure to follow Dr. Tiki on Facebook so you can get a copy of that book when it comes out. If you are in Pumalanga, Google her. We will have her details below this masterclass so you can reach out to her at any time for whatever wisdom that you may want to get from her or whatever kind of healing. Sister, may you stay healthy. May you and your family remain healthy, and may the wisdom that you share with us stay within your heart and within your family. May it impact you, may it grow you, and may you continue to be the wise woman that we know you to be. So that is it. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. The masterclass is closed for today. Good night.